What's up, everyone? We are live right now in the CannaBuzz community. And if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us this week. We have a really great episode for you today. We have Dirk and Bree from Lost Coast Plant Therapy. It's a great spray. I've got one right here, actually. I've got the prop ready for the show. We're going to be talking all about Lost Coast Plant Therapy and the business and all sorts of things. But before we get too far into it, I need to give a couple folks some shout outs. First, shout out to everyone in the CannaBuzz community. You can join our community. It's our app that you can download on your phone or go to our website at cannabuzz.app, and we live stream our interviews every Sunday, and you can join and hang out. And then at the end of the show, we give away stuff. Like this week, we've got a Lost Coast Plant Therapy hat that we're going to be giving away to one of the chatters in the live stream. So join us over there. Use code GROWERSLOVE for 50% off. And then also shout out to our friend TikiMadMan over at TikiSeeds.com. JR, let us know. You've got this really funny background going on that I love. So tell us all about it.
Basically, this is an offering from TikiMadMan to support the CannaBuzz community. And what he's done is he did a breeding project, and he had a list, and he let me pick which of these breeding projects I would be wanting to get behind. And so I chose this Devil Driver by Pablo's Revenge. And it's going to be two of his classics. These are reg seeds, so you will get males and females. So if you're interested in doing any kind of genetic preservation, these will be some great seeds to get. And half of everything we make gets to go to the CannaBuzz community. So we're really excited, and we're really honored to have Tiki, put his time and effort into something like that for us. So check that out. We're going to do that drop on Halloween.
Awesome. Well, let's get into this great episode that we have for you. You should definitely check out our interview that we had with Dirk just a few weeks ago. That was an awesome interview. We got a lot of really great comments, and it was just a really interesting interview that we had for you there. But today we have a special guest as well from the team. It's Bree, Dirk's son-in-law. So both of you, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us this week.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
He's actually my stepson. I'm way too young to have it. Wait, opposite. Whatever. He's my bonus son.
Oh, there you go. My apologies. Nice. Well,
no worries.
Well, JR, kick us off with the first question.
Well, we always like to have our guests come on and tell us how their cannabis journey started. And so we want to ask you, Bree, a few questions. So how did you fall in love with the plant, and how's it gotten you where you are today?
Oh man, well, that's a long story. I was born into the industry with with mom and Dirk and my father. They started back in the 70s, and I was born into it. I was born in 74. And so, from then on, it just kind of was part of life growing up. And that's kind of how I got my start with it. We probably started smoking it a little too soon, a little young, but became familiar with, the familiar smells and the look of all the plants. And we just really enjoyed it growing up. It just was another plant. It wasn't anything, illegal or any of that type. We didn't really know any of that. So that was kind of the beginning. And then, just growing up through high school, we'd dabble here and there and do what our parents did. And saw that, we could make a little money on the side or whatever, help the family, whatever was necessary at the time. And that was kind of the beginning of it all. Then after high school, I kind of got out of it and moved on, wanted to do other things in my life besides be a farmer and be around. I kind of got into the action sports industry. I was a semi-pro snowboarder for a while up in Oregon, and then actually moved to Los Angeles after and created a bag company, a Beeline backpacks, and that introduced me into the action sports world, which I was in, and created products, designing things, backpacks in particular, and selling them at trade shows. So I became familiar with that world of sales and marketing and branding and, manufacturing overseas. And that gave me kind of the foundation to get me to understand how to build the business. Then moving home after that, didn't really, kind of fell apart after some years, but had a great experience and came back and spent some years here in Humboldt County. I'm an artist as well. So I started doing graphic design and growing, and, all this incorporated together. Long story short, then Dirk came up with this spray, and I ended up using it, and it just worked incredible. And decided, hey, let's sell this. And like Dirk was saying, I just watched your guys' episode before. He said, yeah, they didn't even want to sell it. So that gave us, I was like, well, this is a great opportunity. We have a great product, and I understood the basics of how to get this off the ground. And I really kind of started that way. And here we are 7 years later, and it's just, going international, and we have 50 states, 47 states we're in. So it's been an incredible journey, but that's kind of just a real brief outline of where I'm at, where we got to.
So I'd love to hear, sorry, JR, I'd love to hear Bree. First off, also, I realized that for a lot of folks that might be watching from our channel, maybe they're not too familiar with Lost Coast Plant Therapy. So I'd love to give you an opportunity to hear. I want to hear your pitch on what is Lost Coast Plant Therapy. And then I'd also love to hear then what do you do at the company, and how do you contribute to the team?
Okay. Well, yeah, first of all, when I talk to people about the product, usually they're in a distress, they have a problem with their, with their gardens or whatever. So I just try to break down, I try to get straight to the point, like what exactly is the problem, and where, then we kind of work backwards as to, okay, what is the situation, and what have you done to get where you're at? Then we go backwards and say, hey, here's some options for your guys' situation. So, I try not to sell it like as if it's, I'm trying to, like I really desperately need to get rid of it. It's basically, I talk to people about, hey, we've got this incredible product, organic, non-GMO, that's going to help with pretty much any type of situation of bugs and molds in your garden if done properly. So, that's as far as, the pitch, it varies. It's not a standard pitch. I have
a question. If someone comes, and this is often what we hear in the industry, if they come at you and they say, well, is this a knockdown or is this a maintenance? What would be your response?
Well, it's kind of like, again, that's depends on the problem. You want to use it as a preventative maintenance regularly, once a week, twice a week. I've had customers using it 3 times a week religiously, and they swear, they're like, it might be excess use of it, but I get 100% of my crop. So, there's those type of people. Then there's the people saving the money that you can say, okay, use it as you need. And if preventative maintenance is great, you've got a big load of problems, then you're going to have to hit it hard. So, it kind of just, again, it's just a really individual type of situation that you have to really talk to these people and understand what the problem is, and then get back to what the solution may be. So I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah, there's a lot of variables involved. So it's just a process of, what you have to, a lot of things to take into consideration when you're using it as a preventative or as a massive load you're trying to get taken care of as far as bugs. So I don't know. It's just a preventative maintenance is what we try to tell everyone to use. That's the best way.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So then the second part of that question was then, so we wanted to just touch on real quick. Then what's you got involved with the company at some point. So what are you doing at Lost Coast Plant Therapy?
So
let me interject here. Bree gave us the start. I know I can't help it. He's my bonus son. But he gave us the startup money because we had so many people that wanted to invest and wanted to take a percentage. And, Bree didn't have very much money. So he pretty much gave us his life savings. And, lo and behold, within 5-6 months, we realized we were gone. So just had to interject that. Plus, you guys aren't paying attention to me.
One thing I wanted to say about Bree's story in the beginning is that he had used this previous life experience, and instead of seeing it as a failure, he was able to glean out of that experience and bring it to the table and provide something awesome to the family and to the company. And I think that's a powerful statement for young people out there who sometimes think, wow, I had this whole idea of everything going this way, and it's not going that way. Well, what got you to where you are? You probably learned a lot, hopefully, and you can use that for the next chapter in your life.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to say that. And then now back to you, Dirk. We all know that you, sir, are a whirlwind of energy. So my question to Bree is, how do you harness and focus all that energy in this man?
So sometimes you gotta just step aside and let him go. But it's Dirk has incredible energy, knowledge, and enthusiasm, excitement, and we're all best friends. We hang out all the time. We smoke together. We travel together. We have a great time. We have the same sense of humor, and it's been a really fun adventure the whole time. It really has never been an issue of family issues falling apart or somebody. We all keep each other in check because everything is so positive. We're having such a positive change on everyone's life in the world that whatever issues we have, we can work it out and just move forward. So it's really great. It's really fun to have the family involved because we all get to have this journey together and make, it's a success. It's great. It's a small time, small business that just blew up. It was a good timing. The industry needed it. The COVID really changed a lot of stuff because everybody went home, was forced to go home, and they started gardening. And everyone wanted to be healthy and they wanted organic stuff, and they started looking, and everyone who had success is talking to their friends and giving us great reviews and just great, having great success with it. So it's just been a very, very incredible journey. And again, we have our differences on things, but we always work it out, and it's a positive thing. So we're
That's
very
really cool.
Yeah.
And let me throw this in there quickly because of Bree and Chloe, who's my blood. Bree and Heather are my bonus kids, and Debbie and I. There's 5 minds working on this all the time, not one, not 2. And we're all creative. We're all artists. But more importantly, that there are 5 minds always working on this. I could never have done this without Debbie or the children. Children, you're hearing that? But yeah, I could never have done this without, all the other 4 minds. Because again, 5 versus 1, big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Another thing I brought to the table was graphic design and being able to do all the artwork, the layouts, the graphics, all the different types of technical parts of doing this, that when you're branding, you're going to have to hire someone to do that. It's going to take hundreds of hours. It's going to take thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. And so it was really great for me to be able to bring that in and save us some money and just have our vision brought forward as opposed to trying to bring it out of somebody else. So It's great. It's really fun. So
you designed the logo then, and
yes, sir.
Well, I guess I'll throw this in here, and I don't know if she's gonna hear this, but my wife, so Dirk sent us some Lost Coast plant therapy. So we've been admiring the logo, and my wife was saying, she's like, I really like their logo. It's got that really cool gradient. She's like, it looks like an adult designed that logo. She's like, a lot of weed logos don't look like adults designed them.
I say that all the time. I'm not going to say any names, but you see these brands out there and you're like, what on earth are they thinking? Like, who are they marketing this to? And why would somebody who's a professional look at this bottle and go, oh yeah, I trust that. It's got a kid licking a candy cane or a girl, sitting on a
whatever.
Yeah.
It is. You're like,
so as part of that branding and stuff, you're always trying to stay on top of how people see your product. And we kind of spoke to Dirk a little bit about this, that, kind of that trade show model is kind of waning out, and you got to find new and creative ways to get your product in front of people's eyes. Have you guys made a lot of focus on social media, or what kind of avenues are you pushing your media with at right now?
Our major is Instagram. We kind of stayed away from Facebook. Not a lot of traction there, but Instagram, everyone wants just a quick, that clickbait, quick. They've got a couple, about 5 seconds before they lose interest. So we figured, we spent money on ads on all these different magazines. We did, all the optimization on Amazon and all these things, and it just doesn't reach the target market we're looking for. So we went to Instagram, seemed to have the best. The publications, you print this picture, you do spend all this time, you do all the layout and the photography, and you put it in a magazine. They open it up, they go, great, close it and throw it away. And so you don't get that repeat customer type of thing unless they open up that magazine. So Instagram seems to be good because we can constantly be, adding new reels or pictures or posting, reposting, and it gives you a lot more variety. And you can quickly get your images out there if you have, if you can get your settings right on your photos. And a lot of people are just using iPhones and whatever phone they have, and that seems to be like the new thing. But I really like the old school way of setting up products and really making it look like something like is thought of, not just randomly, put out there and done at a low for the cost, for low budget. You can it doesn't have to be expensive, but you can make it look good.
That's Chloe's purview. She's the Instagram. She's the one that's on 7 days a week, 365 days a year doing that, which we all don't have to succumb to that, thank God. But that's who does that. Yeah, Bree is and they all do sales, they all do marketing. Heather, my bonus daughter, is CFO, Debbie is COO, and I'm CEO, which that really means nothing. But that's what they each have their own purview in the business, and that's why I think we did so well. And plus, another thing I wanted to add to that is that this word of mouth thing, because word of mouth was huge. Because the product worked. If it didn't, it's flashy, logos and all that. If it didn't work, it wouldn't do that. But word of mouth was huge.
In this industry and in this community, especially.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I don't know, I mentioned it before that when you go into the shops, you're seeing a shrinking shelf. And you guys are like one of 4 that are left,
Yeah. It's wild. That's been what's crazy, is watching the decline of the industry, where at one point it was just shelves and shelves and every single item was different. And, it's just, you just come to find out that it's not really the solid products. The ones that last are the ones that really are simple. And there was another company like ours that started, and they were into like the science, right? They said the science of it, and they were nanotechnology and all this, terminology, and it sounded great, but you're like, it does the same thing. It's the exact same thing as ours. You're just giving it a fancy word. So, and so yeah, that's it matters. It's actually really great that you can create stuff so quickly and put it out there, because you can have an idea and then post it, and people can get the information, and then they'll talk about it and they'll share it with their friends. And so that's what the platform's so great for. That's why we kind of stuck with that.
I'll tell you, the pressure to come up with content on a regular basis for anyone out there doing social media, it's hard. It's not easy to come up with good, fresh content for people to look at every day,
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, we're always reaching out for people. We're always open to new artists, photographers, people that have ideas. I'm an artist myself, so I'm always looking at things, and I'm a graphic designer, so the layout and the words and the shapes is what I see. So, like, coming up with with the logo, the original one, I didn't like it. It was just, we needed to get something out quick. And it was funny because I actually went with some imagery that was another company that was very popular in the industry. I went with their font so that people would see that font and go, that's familiar. I know that. That's from a bigger company. Anyway, that was the first couple of years. And then I moved into another. I was like, I don't like that design. I want something more that represents us, but on a national, that could be recognized nationally or internationally without it being like that kitschy look, like you're saying, with the cartoons and everything. We want it to be professional.
So we were just speaking to like kind of the beginning of the brand and the beginning of the company. Let's talk about the beginning of the product, Dirk. Let's talk about the early years. When you first were creating this product, how did you create that original formula, and how much has that formula changed over time?
Well, Debbie and I were involved in that. If I didn't have Debbie there to do this, I don't think this product would have come about. But she's there to, for me to get, bounce off of. But it probably took 18 months of lots of testing and killing of plants, which the family doesn't like me to say, but hell, that's what it did. I had to see the parameters, what lived and what didn't. And it was just pretty much like in the first episode, it was 18 months, and we haven't changed at all since then, because it worked. Because I went through so many iterations, killing hundreds.
Then he gave it to me. He said, you got to try this. You got to try this.
And he didn't try it for 3 or 4 months. He was like, I go, Bree, did you try it? And he goes, no, not yet. And once he had a bad mite infestation, he did it, and then he called up. He goes, "What the hell is this?" So we weren't really hot on selling, or pushing it that much. That's the thing.
As soon as I got my hands on it, and it saved me incredibly. I had some OG I was growing in the backyard, and it ended up I didn't harvest until later, and it just got completely covered with powder mold. And I just went to town on it. I used like a 1/2 ounce per gallon. So, because I just wanted to wash it off, because I was actually harvesting it. And I said, oh, well, these things are ruined. I'll do an experiment. I just completely saturated the buds where I was like inside. It was dripping water, dripping out of the buds. So I shook them off, hung them up, and dried them, and they were like perfect again. So I said, oh, wow, this is, we got something here. And then another test was, I had some mothers that I was making clones from, and they got devastated with powder mold and mites. And there was like chandeliers, mites, you know how they clump at the top. And so they were about to die. So I put them outside and sprayed them for about a week every day, about 3 times a day in the shade. And they went from gray, dead gray, yellow with chandelier mites to new growth. And as they would grow, I would take off the dead leaves. And within 2 weeks, I had a green, killer, healthy plant that I planted in the greenhouse again. They were moms that were old. And I said, wow. So between the powder mold and the mites, I was like, this is insane. If this works, which it seemed to do, wow, we have something here. So that was kind of the beginning for me. And then the rest, we need funding. Now, how are we going to do this? How are what are all the pieces that we need to create a company? And Mom and Dirk were like, no, we don't want to do it. So I said, well, I'm going to do it then. And that's what I want you guys to do it with me so that we can have this. If this works, it could be great. So that was kind of the initial start was, let's just say, hey, let's go for it. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So let's see, we're going to ask about the business plan. And I was also kind of curious about, when you're getting this product, creating this product, obviously you have to get it out to market and get it in stores. And that's a whole nother challenge in and of itself. So I'd love to hear kind of that story too, of how do you get those first kind of people on board to start selling this to folks?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, Bree and I just decided we'd go to a regional distributor here, Spare Time, and see if they wanted something. Just, we'd go to a store here and there. So we went to Spare Time. We ended up being there 4.5 hours. And, they purchased everything in the truck that we had. So we went, shit, now we have to go back home. So we did. We weren't upset. And then we just started going to different stores. Debbie would call up around Southern California, San Francisco, just, dead calls. And I just show up and find out where the stores were. And most of the time just showed up. And it was literally that cold calls that did that. And then, of course, once it got going, after about a year, we'd go in stores and they were waiting for us. It's just like, well, we are on the web, on the internet, you can call us up. But it was amazing how many stores just, played dumb almost, like, we were just kind of waiting to hear from you. But yeah, it was that raw and just going out ourselves to doing it,
Yeah, I was real familiar with doing cold calls from my previous business down in Los Angeles. I was, young and became part of another company, and they just literally gave me a list of phone numbers and said, start calling these companies to sell the product. And I was at the point, I told the vice president, I said, look, I was like, what are the words that I even need to say? I don't even know what I need to say, how to do this. So my introduction to cold calling and being being comfortable reaching out to stores and talking about product was, I got thrown to the wolves at a young age. So I was fine with it. I was happy.
Store owners don't want to purchase something new. They're inundated every week. Yeah. And so we came up with the 2-ounce free samples, which we still are doing to this day. Yeah. And, it's giving them boxes of samples and pamphlets, things like that help, because what really drove sales was if customer came in and asked for it. And that's what I found no matter what state we went to. If a customer came in and asked, because we weren't selling on Amazon then, we only have, I think, 2 or 3 dedicated sellers on Amazon because we got rid of everybody else. We just wanted people that really kind of cared about the product to be able to sell that. But yeah, if a customer asked for it, it was like, please get, let's start ordering right away, because that's how it was really driven.
So now with the current distribution models that are out there, what kind of distribution do you guys have and who are you with and all that stuff? How's that work?
Oh man, we have quite a few distributors. We have Hydro Farm is our national largest one. We have a bunch of regional ones around from Florida to Washington State, California. There's multiple ones. Let's see, we've got Spare Time was our first one. There's a list of probably about 6 or 7 that I would say, yeah, Dirk. But they're not, most are small. Relatively. They have their own systems, they have their own trucks and distribution. But Hydro Farm, I feel, is the largest now. And now that we're in Canada, we have another large distributor, Quality International or Quality Wholesale, which we're really looking forward to getting involved with them. They have a great network. But I'm going to say there's going to be at least about 7 or 8. I'd have to look up exactly. We have so many accounts. It's crazy. So it's always expanding.
And globally, we do it ourselves. We don't have any distributors globally. We're just starting to open one up in New Zealand. They're actually in the process of getting our product, I think I said this in the last episode, organically certified. So hopefully by the end of the year, it'll be done. And then they'll be able to get into Australia. So then we'll have that section, Oceania, that continent taken care of. Because we're in 5 continents right now. But we do all the shipping and ourselves, because there's just not enough of it yet to really have a dedicated distributor.
And it sounded like in the beginning, it was really crucial to build that traction was kind of in-person building of relationships. It sounds like, is that fair to say, or maybe not? Maybe it was just, just really just getting out and getting your brand out into all these stores and kind of covering all this territory.
That's pretty much what it was, because the family itself, we're all pretty easy to get along with and very familial, even in our sales, even in corporate sales. So it was just getting out there and getting it to the people, because it was something that was needed. I knew that because I didn't like anything I was using for years, 3 or 4 or 5 different products at one time, organic. Their efficacy rates were this low. And like Bree said, many people think that they get 100% with our product, but it's really only 90 to 95%. That 5% less, everybody has that. It's enough to pass parts per billion, again, testing in California. And it's the main thing is getting it out there, because people wanted it that bad. And like I said, we didn't do sales on Amazon. So we were inundated here at the ranch, because at the ranch here is where we pretty much sell everything, or everything's packaged, sent here, and then we distribute it from the ranch from here.
Yeah.
Other than our main distributors.
We wanted to real hands-on with everybody that we talked to, because there's so many questions that come with the product, that it was important that you get the first time user to use it right and to understand, where to start and what not to do, the things to watch out for. And then, word of mouth is the best. So really getting it to anyone that we could. Cold calling, people don't like to hear, stores, or they hear it all the time. It's a difficult one. But once the traction's out there, like Dirk said, when people are walking in the store, we went to trade shows, we went to anything we could, handed it out to everyone we could. And then friends talked, and, they say, oh, my buddy over here, my buddy over there, it just kind of was an organic, natural progression that was great. That just it's felt really good so far. It's just been incredible. So
that's how me and Sam found your product as well. It was Rasufa who had handed us a sample.
Right.
It was months later I came into an issue. I was not getting the efficacy rates that I was looking for. I gave your product a shot, and I was blown away, because it was something I had been dealing with for a while. And so I was like, it's easy for me to believe and to promote something that I actually believe in. Yeah. And so that made it a lot easier for me. It wasn't like, you guys are knocking down our door. We used your product, and we both found it to be great. And that's why we kind of got a hold of you guys. Moving forward though, Dirk, now being kind of the, CEO of the company, and having children, is it sometimes harder or easier to have those expectations of motivation in your children and what they're accomplishing?
It drives me insane. At times we're going, God, we're arguing, like a regular corporation, but it's so rare and in between. It really is wonderful having family, because we have that dynamic, and we can argue and not agree on stuff. And many times, I get my own way, but I gave everybody equal. I gave everybody equal voting rights. But many times, if I'm really adamant about something, but it's very rare that we disagree on things. Very, very, very rare. And I love the dynamic, be able to have family, our employees are our friends, but the owners, the family. it's, there's nothing like it. It's absolutely incredible. And we're global. We're not a little family operation anymore, even though we are on purpose. We are global now. We're getting, I told you guys last episode, we're getting into the food industry. This could be absolutely gigantic. And we're excited about that also. But our heart's in cannabis, hemp, things like that.
Everyone had to learn their spot. When we started, we kind of said, okay, who's good at what? What do you want to do? What I was like, well, I can do the graphics and sell. And, I know about that, do trade shows. We all kind of just threw out there what we'd want to do. And everything that everyone said, there was a space for it. So Chloe went to Instagram and social media. She's, more familiar with that. And my Heather, the older sister, she's our CFO. So she's doing all our taxes and accounting, and she does our website design, and she does, a lot of publications and just writing different aspects of, there's so many different things to do on there's so small little details to take care of, and then Mom and Dirk created the formula, and Dirk, has all the technical know-how and, all the farming aspects to be able to talk to everyone. And Mom's got this, the shipping down and everything. It's just a real tight ship. It's great.
COO. She's the COO. She has a shit job. She does the registration and all that stuff. Always. And being CEO, someone once told me a CEO takes care of, checks on all the other C's, whatever they are. I just watch a lot of TV. I get high.
So let's see. I was going to ask you about. So I've worked a lot of my career. I've worked at a lot of different startups and worked at small business or businesses that are in the early days and then they grow. And I find that there's this moment, in the beginning, sometimes it feels like this is just a project that I'm working on. And then there's at some point where it's oh shit, this is a real business. And it's this is a real thing. Talk us about when I, say that to you, what's that moment that comes to mind?
Oh man. Honestly, I had a moment when I'd used the product and I had such good success with it. And I'll never forget, I said, oh, I'm going to make a company out of this. We're going to sell it. I was like, I told my buddy who was with me, I said, you just watch, we're going to be, in 3 years, we're going to be spraying it out of airplanes. And he's just like, yeah, right, dude, this hippie juice isn't going to work. He's like, this is this is definitely not. Well, today we were laughing, just recently because of all of that. He's just like, man, I was wrong. Glad you didn't listen to me. Because, it was early on that I felt that it was going to be a success, because if I could make it work for me, then anyone could make it work, on a small scale, and then having it be scalable was even just, icing on the cake. But yeah, it is it was an incredible, from the beginning, really. I had a feeling in my stomach. I said, this is going to work. It's got to work. If it works here, it's going to work everywhere. As long as we're consistent and keep that mix right, we'll be good. And sure enough, I guess I was right. So very happy about that.
So now I'm losing Dirk here.
No, I'm back. I had 4% left, and I'm like, there's been a fly. There's a fly flying in my nose. A fly today of all days. I'm trying to.
I saw that.
Dang it! I wasn't picking my nose. So, guys, you know what? Let me. I want to say something before I forget it, because my mind is so freaking forgetful. But the hardest sell was to our friends and neighbors. That was the hardest sell. Yeah. And I knew Humboldt County and Mendo were going to be hard. And even friends of ours that were store owners were like, okay, yeah, we'll try it. Let's see how it works. And we knew that they were the hardest to crack the nut with. It wasn't, the big thing was getting to spare time. They hadn't even tested it. They just went by what we said and who we were. And it turned out to be, they've been our our biggest distributor, and they're just regional. They're just regional. They're not big. They just went to LA for the first time not too long ago, so they're still very regional. But yeah, I kind of forgot what I was saying.
Well, I was going to ask you about.
The locals were the hardest, and once it finally caught on, even today, even this month, we're having people go, okay, God, the shit does work. Even today, years later, people are finally catching on, okay, we will use this and see what it is. And it's fine with us. We didn't care because we knew this was actually going to be our smallest market, believe it or not, Humboldt and Mendo. We just knew. Now, so many of the big farms use our product. So many of them. I could go down the list.
Yeah, a lot of the Cannabis Cup winners, a lot of these companies are using it and having and actually talking about it now because people are asking what their programs are, and people are starting to really. I think that really helped.
Yeah. And Bree's, one of Bree's dear friends, because he's his age, Jason the God Gelman, once he used it, that kind of just went out, and people were like, okay, I guess we can start using it. But even locally,
it really did help to have somebody with that, with the caliber cannabis that he's making and the accolades, all the awards and everything. People listen. If you're successful, people want to follow that program, and that's so that's really helped us too. Is people really have been reaching out and sharing, going to co-brand, and we're tagging each other in posts and saying just giving positive feedback, which is great. That's been wonderful, and we have so many of our legacy cannabis guys out here in Humboldt that are really trying to get into the market. It's just a really difficult time for everybody. So quality is 100%. It has to be so good, and just and this our knowing that we pass the test consistently and give that people that kind of peace of mind is a really great feeling. So that's
awesome.
Also all these things really help to move the company forward in a positive way. So
now, Dirk, when you're transitioning now from dealing with your cannabis community and industry and maybe looking at big ag, and so talk about the difference between talking to a cannabis farmer and a celery farmer.
I have to get a lot more stoned to talk to the celery farmers. It's a different breed, and they're very, very protective of what they do and how they do it. They don't like change. They don't want to add anything to their repertoire, whatever they're doing, whether it's fertilizers, pest control. So the only reason we got through was for a friend of ours, Matt Little, who's in that industry. And that's the only reason we were even allowed at some of these farms. And of course, like I said last time, God, this is actually working. Very inexpensive per acre compared to anything else organic they're using or conventional. That's what really shocked us. So we were very happy about that. When people are eating McDonald's or Burger King, at least some of the lettuce that they're going to be putting in their mouths will probably have our, byproduct on it. Although parts per billion, you won't taste it, you won't smell it, I
promise. I'll throw in a question in there real quick is, how do you guys decide how fast to grow your business? Because you could kind of very easily have big eyes and get like, holy shit, let's go over here and do this. And then and then you get yourself in a really bad situation because maybe it's like all of a sudden it's fall and you don't have any product that you can sell to people when they need to treat their PM and bud rot or whatever, So how do you guys make sure that you're growing the business, but not getting, I guess, overly aggressive to where you could even some people even end their companies accidentally because they get over aggressive?
That was all of us combined like this, just did this at this tempo. Organically started with Bree's money, organically advertising with just us, and then going into some magazines, and then online. And I mean, if we would have probably gotten on Shark Tank in a heartbeat because our margins were so incredible. I mean, almost instantly. So we just were We just weren't that huge on advertising,
Our inventory.
We were controlling everything pretty much just because we wanted to. There were 5 of us. Why not? If there's 1 or 2 of us, it would have driven us nuts. But 5 of us, remember, there are 5 family members.
And it's important to, like, my knowledge of my experience with the company I worked for, we were importing and we had tons of inventory in a huge warehouse just sitting there collecting dust for years. And, that was always in the back of my mind, you can't have things sitting around. You don't want to spend all your money on inventory and have this big warehouse sitting there. You have to kind of be patient and grow with the sales, and see where it goes and anticipate what's going to happen. And, we've been caught with a little bit of extra, and then we've been caught with no extra inventory at times. So our manufacturer is great because we can do small runs to cover, issues pretty quickly within probably about a week. And that allowed us to, if there was an issue, we could get it out and get it taken care of and get people their product, because we know that if, farming, there's not much time. When you got bugs and mold, you got a couple days and it could be all gone in a moment of, in just a matter of moments. So, it's kind of just, we're learning as we go. And prior experience with some other businesses really helped to make good decisions. So, and we just kind of, again, we don't have a huge overhead, which was, massive amounts of employees and huge warehouses and all this stuff, infrastructure. We have, the warehouse is at Mom and Dirk's. We manufacture in LA, we ship, we distribute. And other than that, we do trade shows, but our distributors have, lots of sales reps, and they can do, we don't have to hire our own. Necessarily. We tried that, but it kind of worked against us, because of the distributors and our own salesmen going to the same accounts and trying to get the deal. So we said, hey, let's just, go with the distributors for now and see how that works. And apparently it was, been working good. So we're stuck with that plan for now.
So, and we do individuals and we do stores. We'll drop ship a 12-ounce somewhere in Iowa if we have to. We're very accommodating for our customers, big time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah, we've got an honorary third guest.
You heard her or not? She's over here doing like this. She's going.
We could give her like producer credits or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, in the spirit of kind of sharing your business wisdom and advice, we're in spots in the industry. We're in some tough times. We've seen other types of companies that make other types of products. There's some of them I think we've even had on the show that don't exist anymore. We've just been in this period of a tough time, right? So I'd love to hear you guys talk about, I guess, how you've thought about kind of positioning yourselves through to get through those tough times, and then maybe what advice would you give to other companies or other entrepreneurs that how they can build a business and get through this sort of time in the cannabis industry, and then I guess more broadly.
Right, Dirk, you want to?
No.
I can answer
that. Debbie can answer that.
There you go.
Oh man, jeez, what was the question again?
So basically, Bree, we're in a slow death right now.
No, I got you. I got you. It's we gotta like. God, I don't even know. I mean, there's so many variables. It's the best way for us is to stay small and to stay on top of all your different aspects of your company, where you're not bleeding out all these, excess costs. Keep it simple. Get a good team. You have to have a good team behind you where everyone knows their job and is willing to, admit when they make a mistake, move on. Let's learn. Let's, trust in each other. And, the industry is really, from growing up into it and watching it grow to what it was and now what it is it's depressing, but there are opportunities, and there is, as long as you stay small, don't overspend, and you can have hopes and dreams, but stay grounded with what's really going on, and keep your numbers, stay aware of all your aspects, and that's going to really help. So, that kind of goes over with any business, is just to be aware, be very aware and open to change. You got to be flexible. You got to move with the times. You got to, learn, you got to learn what your industry is. So that's, I think, one of the best things is just to have patience and focus on what the important things are, which is, being solid and having a good foundation. So
that's fantastic. That's really
And
good.
also, I would say not to overextend the company where you're carrying a lot of debt, where you pay as you go. And if there's a downturn in any industry, then you're not caught with excess inventory, a shortage of cash, all that. So I would say that just pay as you go, and try not to carry any debt. And that is what really helped us, because when the cannabis industry took a downturn, we had to, luckily we were in control of the inventory and how much we can bottle at a time, and we downsized accordingly. So instead of doing 20,000 gallons a month, it went down to 10 or 5, whatever, it depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
So that really helps.
Yeah.
Another thing I'd like to also kind of put in there too is I think one of the beautiful things about your guys' situation was there's always that fork in the road with folks and their products. Either you take that money and you get it on the shelves fast, or you take your own time and you go grassroots and you build it yourself. And so I think you guys were fortunate enough to have Bree come up, say, hey, let's throw this in. Let's see what we could do with this. Let's see if we can make this happen. And through your guys' energy, you've built something beautiful. And I think you all should be very proud of that. Very proud of that.
Thanks. And I was this close to taking money from dear friends that would have owned a percentage of the business. And thank God, Bree did that. So we were very fortunate with that. We still haven't paid him back the money. Probably never will, but that's okay. He has a very lucrative company.
Interest. There's a lot of interest. Yeah. It's that was a big one, is not giving away any of the company as well. A lot of people want to be wealthy quickly, and they think that using other people's money, there's a big thing out there called other people's money, OPM, and everyone goes by that. But if you don't have to, then don't, because it allows you to not have to be, you don't have to answer to anybody. If the company fails, it's on you. It isn't now that you owe the money. You might have to do it yourself if it was a loan, but if somebody else, now you've let down another business partner who's probably not going to have the best things to say necessarily. So it's a lot easier to take a fall yourself as it is to have to, listen to a bunch of corporate heads, telling you how bad it is, or, so yeah, watch out. They'll take everything or they'll give you everything.
Well, that's the thing I think in our industry that a lot of people also have to deal with, is that what we call it predatory lending, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big one. We didn't want that. We didn't want people to have to put in their 2 cents if they weren't part of the cannabis industry, then they're just going to want to see a return. They don't know how it gets there. They just want to see it. And if they don't, they're pissed. And then you're like, well, sorry, buddy, you're in farming. It sucks.
Yeah, right.
There were some bugs. We didn't know. So, that was another reason why we didn't want to see, and we've had other business partners and other ventures. We've all had experiences that just seem to all fall apart when it was always about the money, and someone didn't get something, or it just left a bad taste in our mouth. So we wanted to make sure that we don't chase the money that way, that if it's naturally going to happen, it's going to happen. So, and it'll be on us. So that was it feels real good to know that it has been a success because of that. So yeah.
Cheers.
Good. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
So we had, we're going to get into our final few questions. Our last kind of question on the cannabis space. We're going to give a shout out to the home growers. We have a huge home grower community. That's where we came up out of, really with CannaBuzz. And so I had a question about that. One was a question actually from one of our live stream viewers, someone in our community. His name is Viking Mark. He said, "Is it safe to use in a bedroom grow?"
Yes.
So,
oh my God, yes. I mean, remember last time I told you I would drink 2 ounces, spray it in my face, spray it in my eyes, in my mouth, when interpreters couldn't get it right, especially in Vietnam. And yeah, it's quite okay to do that. People are getting rid of athlete's foot with it, spraying their feet directly from it. When they were growing outdoors during the summer, they'd notice a difference, psoriatic patches on the arms. So yes, it's completely safe to do around children, animals. It's a food grade product.
Yes.
Anything there either goes on your body or in your body, and it's all so it's totally safe for that.
100%.
Yeah, even around babies.
Oh, sorry about my dog there that wanted to get involved as well.
That's okay. Our dogs aren't allowed to bark during this. So.
We had
I know, huh?
another cool thing is we had people. I think Dirk was saying we had some black flies. The rancher was using it on his cattle. We've had people ask about flea infestations in carpets, mosquitoes, ants. We have Heather has our sister, my sister's has a program. Some friends down in Costa Rica she's working with, and they're spraying it for fungus and like molds on their patio furniture. And it's giving them, a week to 3 weeks. A resort, yeah. So they're spraying it on all the moss that grows. It's very humid in Costa Rica, and you get all this funky fungus and molds. And so they're actually hosing, like high pressure washing furniture, their buildings, their sidewalks, the pool areas, and they're actually removing this algae, and it's staying off 2 to 3 weeks at a time, giving them about 2 weeks time in between sprays, as 3 to 4 days before with other product they were using. So it has so many uses. We can't claim any of this stuff, but people tell us, and the athlete's foot on kids, I'm just blown away. So it
made me smarter.
Well, and I was going to give a shout out to the home growers that are putting the word out about your guys' product, because that's something that I did notice, like you were saying, Bree, earlier in the show. You were talking about word of mouth, and like during the pandemic, especially I noticed in Facebook groups, because I'm in some big like weed related Facebook groups, or weed growing Facebook groups, and I see your product come up a bunch when people are like having some sort of issues. I've noticed that Lost Coast plant therapy is coming up. So it's very cool that word of mouth is out there, but also it's also here to hear back from you guys that it actually helps and it actually adds up, and it's been really helpful to your business.
Sam and JR, I want to send you guys a carton which has like 16 or 20 boxes of samples in them to give to your subscribers, because we'd want to give them something, and not that this is what we're talking about, but clothing and maybe some quarts and gallons shipping up to you. So at each podcast, you can give those away. We'd love to be able to do that, but mainly get a ton of samples to you guys. Start letting, if your subscribers want any free samples, or contact us and we'll ship it out free. That way you don't have to spend the money.
I'm in Portland, and I shop at Green Coast Hydro in Portland. Yes. And I got to tell you, it's sad in there. Those guys need some shit to give away. There used to be a table with all kinds of cool shit. You could walk in and people would be hooking it up. Bro, there's zero. No, but there's nothing. Nobody's giving anything away.
That's the new industry. That's what happened.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So JR, text me that specific store after this, and we'll send them a shitload of stuff because of you guys. You guys at CannaBuzz, we'll ship them a shitload of stuff. We won't tell them. And and get it out to all the people watching you, that you can get a hold of us and we will ship out free samples to them. But I will send up a shitload for you guys. So, you can start giving them out if you want to.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dirk.
Well,
family.
I thank you so much. I don't want to hold you guys up for too much longer on your Sunday afternoon. We've really been appreciating your time.
We haven't talked about when I was a child. We haven't talked about traveling when I was 3 or 4 years old in Germany and France, man. You got to.
He will.
Well, it's funny you say that, Dirk, because we always end with one last question, and this is my last question. So tell us the story of your wildest business interaction.
Mine?
Yeah, your wildest.
I don't know if I can, because I could possibly get in trouble, and this musician could possibly get in trouble.
Yeah, Vietnam.
That's the one. Our business. Yeah, I can't do that. It's not about our business. Yeah. So God, what would I say? Jesus, I don't know, man. God, I should have thought of this before, and that you were going to tell me. Ask Bree that.
Or maybe an
great answer for the man.
Yeah, wildest interaction, or maybe an oh shit moment where you're like, oh shit. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think the biggest oh shit moment for me was when my friend actually sent me a video of him spraying out of a helicopter in Oregon on his 50-acre farm. And I was like, wait a minute, this is exactly what I was feeling and thinking. And it was like, it would be the dream if we could see it come out of a helicopter. And sure enough, I've got the footage, I've got the videos, and it was just wow.
Kind of like you law of attracted your own manifestation, brother, right?
Yes. It was incredible. That was one. I've had a few more too, but just like when the big dogs, I have some friends that work in like Stizzy and Glass House area, those large facilities, and to know that from a little tiny farmer, one plant, one guy, or whoever, man, woman, family, to the biggest names in the industry are using our product, that was like, wow, that says a lot about the potential and the quality and just the, what's going on and with the company is it's really reached an insane amount of variety of people and farmers and
I'm going to start a church. I'm starting a church. Oh yeah, you guys will be my first members.
10 years from now, we're gonna have like some sort of Netflix documentary on you about how you. It started with hippie plant juice.
Hippie juice.
I love that comment. It's so great.
And he used to give it out in lemonade bottles.
Yeah,
because Dirk loves lemonade, so he has these bottles, and we just pour it in there, and people would be looking at the bottle like,
it was a special plastic. So I take them in, but when I get like 100 of them after a couple of year period, and I had hundreds of these, and I went, let's just start selling these. So we have people come up to us even now and go, man, remember Matt's lemonade from Florida? I go, yeah, you're one of those. He goes, yeah, I either give him a quart, a gallon. I gave him jackets off of my back before, people like that. They were the ones in the very original, people that actually wanted our product. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess as that lemonade company come back to get their money for all that,
they went out of business, which really bummed me out.
Oh, man,
went out of business. They didn't use Lost Coast Plant Therapy in Florida on
their trees. Right?
Well, we've had a blast today, guys. We really, really appreciate your time. At the end of this episode, we're going to give away this hat to one of our live stream viewers as a thank you to one of our supporters on the live stream. So those supporters should stay tuned. But Bree and Dirk, we really had a great time. And honorary producer Debbie,
Yes.
who also made a
Honestly.
guest appearance as well. We had a really great time with you guys today. As always, if you've been enjoying this discussion, make sure you go to lostcoastplanttherapy.com. Check out, you can see their logo at the expertly designed logo down at the bottom of the screen. And make sure to check out their product. I found it to be useful. I was doing exactly what Bree was saying. So one of the strains that I was growing, it was having powdery mildew problems. So I was spraying the branches down while I was harvesting it because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to have issues. So and I did that because I felt so confident in it after talking to Dirk, and he was talking about crazy stuff like drinking it and stuff like that. So anyways, I just really appreciate the product. And JR, any last words that you want to say before we go?
Just again, thank you both for your time and your energy. And, thanks for supporting us, the CannaBuzz family and the CannaBuzz team. And like always, growers love.
We love you guys.
Hey,
we love you
thanks,
guys.
Thank you
Love
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thanks.